Among all the human species that ever walked the earth, none spark more curiosity and mystery than the Neanderthals. As our closest relatives, they not only share a portion of their DNA with modern humans, but also possess extraordinary traits, so much so that even modern science has yet to fully unravel their secrets. They were not entirely like us, yet not entirely alien. This strange blend makes the Neanderthals one of the greatest enigmas in human history. Over 100,000 years ago, in a harsh and icy world, Neanderthals not only survived, but thrived. They faced colossal creatures like mammoths, woolly rhinos, and cave bears beasts whose very names inspire fear even today. Yet, the Neanderthals showed no signs of fear. With bodies as powerful as warriors and minds full of strategy, they overcame the formidable challenges posed by nature. Their dense bones, superior muscle strength, and unyielding courage made them the dominant beings of their time. But then, a mysterious event occurred. Over 40,000 years ago, the Neanderthals, a species of remarkable strength and intelligence, suddenly vanished from the planet. They didn't just disappear, they left behind countless questions. What happened to them? How could a species so physically robust and adaptable fail to endure? Was it competition with Homo sapiens, the first modern humans? Was it the harsh shifts in climate? Or was it their unique biology and way of life that ultimately marked the end of their existence? The story of the Neanderthals is not just a chapter in history. It is a mystery that shakes the very foundation of our understanding of humanity. What secrets lie hidden behind their disappearance? Could the legacy they left behind hold the key to unraveling the future of our own species? In today's journey, we will delve into the tale of the strangest humans ever to walk the earth, to uncover their strength, their intelligence, and the eternal mystery they left behind. Imagine standing in the middle of a freezing forest more than 50,000 years ago. Everything around you is harsh temperatures constantly below 0 degrees Celsius, colossal predators lurking in the shadows, and none of the comforts of modern life. How would you survive in such an unforgiving environment? For the Neanderthals, the answer lay within their very bodies. Neanderthals were not like us. They were designed to withstand the harshest conditions Earth had ever known. Their bodies were evolutionary marvels, optimized for strength, endurance, and survival. In this section, we'll delve into the uniqueness of their bones, muscles, and hunting strategies factors that made them true warriors of the prehistoric world. The Neanderthal body began with an extraordinary skeletal structure. Their bones were not only thicker, but also significantly denser than those of Homo sapiens. Fossils discovered in Shanidar Cave, Iraq, provide clear evidence of this. Their femurs were massive and incredibly durable, allowing them to withstand pressures that modern humans could scarcely imagine. Their shoulder and arm bones were developed to bear heavy loads and withstand immense pulling forces. These traits enabled Neanderthals to lift, throw, and handle heavy tools like spears, essential weapons for hunting. Think of it this way. If Homo sapiens were exceptional marathon runners, Neanderthals were world-class heavyweight lifters. They weren't optimized for agility, but for raw strength and enduring resilience. Neanderthals had more muscle mass than any Homo sapiens. Their bodies were engineered for explosive strength activities, such as spear throwing, tree cutting, or direct confrontations with giant creatures. An average Neanderthal weighed about 83 kilograms, nearly all of it muscle. Notably, their shoulder and arm muscles were exceptionally developed, allowing them to wield heavy spears for extended periods without fatigue. Their muscles not only provided strength, but also played a crucial role in maintaining body heat. Every time Neanderthals hunted or moved, their thick muscles generated significant heat, helping them survive the harsh, freezing nights. This was a significant advantage compared to Homo sapiens, who relied more heavily on fur clothing or fire to stay warm. Neanderthals were not only physically powerful, but also incredibly courageous in their hunting methods. Unlike Homo sapiens, who preferred using bows, arrows, or traps to minimize danger, Neanderthals chose to face their prey head-on. They crafted long, heavy spears specifically for battling large animals. Spears over 2 meters in length, discovered in Schöningen, Germany, and dating back more than 300,000 years, are believed by archaeologists to have been designed to pierce through the thick skin and bones of massive creatures like mammoths or woolly rhinos. Hunting was not a solo endeavor. A group of Neanderthals would work closely together, using the terrain to encircle their prey and minimize risks. Some members would approach from the front to draw the prey's attention, while others waited for the right moment to strike from behind or the sides. This approach showcased not only their physical strength, but also their intelligence and remarkable teamwork skills. Hunting in such a direct manner was fraught with danger. A single kick from a mammoth or a swipe from a cave bear could easily end a Neanderthal's life. But the rewards were immense. A single mammoth could provide enough meat and fur to sustain an entire group for weeks. Neanderthals didn't rely solely on their physical strength. They knew how to leverage their surroundings to maximize their hunting opportunities. They often hunted in sparse forests or on hillsides, where the terrain allowed them to hide and approach their prey unexpectedly. Evidence suggests they may have used traps or lured prey into narrow spaces, making the hunt easier to control. This demonstrates that Neanderthals were not just powerful, but also capable of strategic planning. The differences in hunting strategies between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens clearly reflect the distinct survival approaches of the two species. Homo sapiens, flexible, agile, and inventive. They developed lightweight and sophisticated tools like bows and arrows, enabling them to hunt from a distance and minimize risk. Neanderthals, strong, courageous, and resilient. They relied on physical strength and group coordination to take down prey much larger than themselves. The robust physique and hunting strategies of Neanderthals were crucial to their survival in a world full of dangers. However, their heavy reliance on physical strength made them less adaptable when faced with environmental changes and competition from Homo sapiens. In the next section, we will explore the adaptability and other unique biological traits of Neanderthals' factors that contributed to their dominance, but may also have played a role in their inability to survive as the world changed. Adaptability, a masterpiece of evolution. Neanderthals were not just strong. They were masterpieces of evolutionary adaptation, a testament to nature's resilience in the face of the harshest challenges. When discussing Neanderthals, we cannot overlook how their bodies and behaviors were shaped by thousands of years of living in conditions that modern humans can scarcely imagine. From their respiratory systems to their ability to endure injuries, every aspect of their being reflects a remarkable process of evolution. Exceptional respiratory system, the key to survival in the Ice Age lung capacity and energy efficiency. In addition to having larger lung capacity, Neanderthals had the ability to regulate their breathing, to conserve energy during endurance-heavy activities such as hunting or navigating rugged terrains. Efficient breathing Neanderthals could take deep breaths and hold them longer to optimize oxygen absorption, which was especially useful when hunting in cold and oxygen-scarce environments. The combination of large lung capacity and developed muscles allowed them to perform heavy physical activities continuously, without quickly exhausting themselves. Lessons from modern studies. Some studies on Sherpas in the Himalayas, where oxygen scarcity is common, show similarities in how the human body evolves to improve respiratory efficiency. This suggests that Neanderthals might have developed similar biological mechanisms. The role of the nose in climate adaptation. The structure of their nose was not just a random biological detail, it was a critical part of Neanderthals' survival strategy. Natural protection. In cold, dry climates, warming and humidifying the air before it entered the lungs was vital. The long and wide nasal structure of Neanderthals acted as a natural filter, helping them stay healthy in harsh conditions. Comparison with Homo sapiens, with shorter noses optimized for warmer climates, often relied on tools and clothing for adaptation. In contrast, Neanderthals depended entirely on their biology to cope with the environment. Endurance, resilience in the face of challenges, natural healing abilities. Remarkable cases. Beyond the well-known Shanidar 1 case, numerous other fossils reveal evidence of severe injuries, ranging from broken bones to deep cuts that had fully healed. This highlights their extraordinary capacity for recovery and suggests that they lived in communities where mutual care and support were common. The role of community. Neanderthals did not rely solely on their biological abilities. Living in small but tightly knit groups allowed injured members to recover without facing survival pressures alone. Fossils reveal stories of survival. Fossil analyses show that Neanderthals frequently suffered significant injuries during hunts or conflicts with large animals. Remarkably, they often managed to survive injuries that even modern Homo sapiens might struggle to endure. Stories in the bones. A study of fossils from Krapina, Croatia, revealed that Neanderthals had fracture rates comparable to modern-day horseback riders, one of the most dangerous professions. However, while modern riders rely on advanced medicine, Neanderthals depended entirely on their natural healing abilities and the support of their group members. Challenges of biological optimization. Inflexible physique. While the Neanderthal body was a survival machine perfectly suited for cold climates, it also posed a significant weakness when the environment changed. High energy costs. An average Neanderthal required around 4,500 to 6,000 calories daily, comparable to the diet of a modern professional athlete. As the climate shifted and food sources became scarce, this high caloric demand became a critical challenge. Unsuitability for warm climates. When the climate warmed at the end of the Ice Age, their large bodies and biological adaptations were no longer ideal. The decline of large animals, their primary food source, made it difficult for them to sustain their hunting-based lifestyle. Comparison with Homo sapiens. Advantages of flexibility. Homo sapiens, with smaller bodies and a more adaptable lifestyle, were better equipped to survive environmental changes. Broader diet. Unlike Neanderthals, Homo sapiens developed strategies for hunting from a distance and diversified their diet to include plants and smaller animals. This versatility allowed them to endure significant climate fluctuations and thrive. Conclusion of Part 2. Neanderthals are a vivid testament to the extraordinary adaptability of humans in the face of the harshest conditions. Their superior respiratory system, remarkable resilience, and bodies optimized for cold climates enabled them to survive for hundreds of thousands of years. However, their reliance on specific environmental conditions also made them vulnerable to change. Yet, their evolutionary legacy extends beyond biological adaptation. Neanderthals possessed intelligence, culture, and a unique way of life that we will explore further in the next section. Neanderthals were not just physically strong. They were intelligent beings with a surprisingly rich culture. When we think of Neanderthals, the image of wild, brutish individuals relying solely on strength for survival is deeply ingrained in many minds. However, recent archaeological discoveries have completely shifted this perception. Neanderthals were not only powerful, but also intelligent, creative, and part of a society with distinct cultural traits. They didn't merely survive, they thrived in the harshest environments. A large but different brain. One of the most striking features of Neanderthals was their large brain, with an average capacity ranging from 1,460 to 1,640 cubic centimeters, even larger than that of Homo sapiens. However, how this brain functioned is a far more complex story. 1. Superior environmental perception. Neanderthals excelled in their ability to perceive their surroundings, thanks to highly developed areas of the brain associated with vision and smell. This gave them an edge over Homo sapiens in many specific situations. Vision and low light. The large eye sockets of Neanderthals, evident in fossils from La Ferracie, France, suggest they had superior vision, particularly in low-light conditions such as dense forests or caves. This ability allowed them to hunt more effectively and avoid predators in the dark. Keen sense of smell. Brain regions associated with olfaction were more developed than in Homo sapiens, enabling Neanderthals to detect scents from long distances. This heightened sense of smell was crucial for locating prey, identifying threats, and even recognizing group members. 2. Limitations in abstract thinking. Despite their large brains, Neanderthals fell short compared to Homo sapiens in terms of abstract thinking and complex communication. Abstract thought and language. Studies suggest that while Neanderthals could communicate using sounds and gestures, they did not develop a complex language comparable to Homo sapiens. This limitation hindered their ability to coordinate in large groups and pass on information across generations. Impact on society. The lack of abstract thinking prevented Neanderthals from developing complex social systems, a critical factor that gave Homo sapiens an advantage in the race for survival. Tools and techniques. Neanderthals survived not only through their physical strength, but also thanks to their impressive tool-making skills. They were skilled craftsmen who utilized the resources around them effectively. 1. Sophisticated tool-making. Neanderthal tools were crafted using the Mousterian technique, a sophisticated method for shaping and sharpening stones. Features. Mousterian tools included knives, spearheads, stone axes, and scrapers. These tools were designed not only for hunting, but also for processing food, preparing animal hides, and constructing shelters. Comparison with Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens tools were often smaller, more versatile, and included innovations such as bone needles or fine blades. In contrast, Neanderthal tools tended to be heavier, reflecting their reliance on physical strength in daily life. 2. Hunting techniques and tool usage. Neanderthals excelled not only in crafting tools, but also in using them effectively for hunting. Long spears and group hunting tactics. Neanderthals used long spears made of hardwood with sharp stone tips to hunt large prey, such as mammoths or woolly rhinos. They hunted in small groups, coordinating to drive prey into advantageous positions before striking. Close combat hunting. Unlike Homo sapiens, who often hunted from a distance, Neanderthals employed close combat strategies that demanded bravery and immense strength. This approach also explains the frequent injuries observed in Neanderthal fossils from hunting encounters. Art and culture. Neanderthals were not only strong and skillful, but also left behind cultural and artistic imprints, proving their capacity for expression and creativity. 1. Symbolic art evidence from Cueva de Ardales in Spain suggests that Neanderthals had the ability to create art. The cave features rock paintings, handprints, and abstract symbols dating back over 65,000 years. Significance: this art may not only have served as a form of expression, but also carried spiritual meaning or acted as a medium for passing information across generations. Comparison with Homo sapiens. While the art of Homo sapiens often depicted animals or hunting scenes, Neanderthal art leaned more towards abstraction, possibly reflecting early stages of symbolic thinking. 2. Social communities and empathy. One of the most remarkable aspects of Neanderthal culture was their care for one another and their social organization. Caring for the sick. Fossils such as Shanidar 1 demonstrate that Neanderthals cared for the sick and elderly over extended periods. This indicates that they lived not only for survival, but also possessed a high level of emotional connection and empathy. Burial practices and beliefs. Evidence from La Chapelle aux Saints in France suggests that Neanderthals practiced burial rituals. The presence of tools and flowers engraves hints at their awareness of death and possibly a belief in an afterlife. Comparison with Homo sapiens. While Neanderthals exhibited remarkable intelligence and culture, Homo sapiens outpaced them due to several key advantages. Language and communication. Homo sapiens developed complex language systems, enabling effective coordination in large groups and the transmission of knowledge across generations. Advanced tools. The tools of Homo sapiens were lighter, more portable, and better suited for a nomadic lifestyle and territorial expansion. Social organization. Homo sapiens' societies were often larger and more structurally complex, allowing them to better adapt to environmental changes and challenges. Conclusion of Part 3. Neanderthals were not only physically strong but also intelligent and culturally rich. They created sophisticated tools, formed meaningful social structures, and left their mark on prehistoric art. However, limitations in abstract thinking and technology put them at a disadvantage when competing with Homo sapiens. Although they are extinct, the legacy of Neanderthals lives on, not only in the fossils they left behind but also in our very DNA, a powerful reminder that they remain an integral part of human evolutionary history. Despite their strength and remarkable adaptability, Neanderthals disappeared from Earth over 40,000 years ago. Why did a species so superior in physical and intellectual prowess fail to survive? The extinction of Neanderthals remains one of the greatest mysteries in human evolutionary history. They endured for hundreds of thousands of years in harsh environments. But with the arrival of Homo sapiens, everything began to change. Scientists have proposed various theories to explain their disappearance, ranging from survival competition and climate change to genetic assimilation. First, competition with Homo sapiens. The arrival of Homo sapiens in Europe around 45,000 years ago coincided with the decline of Neanderthal populations. This was no mere coincidence. With superior social organization and advanced technology, Homo sapiens posed a significant challenge to Neanderthals. Advantages of Homo sapiens' language and communication. Homo sapiens developed complex language systems, enabling them to coordinate effectively in large groups. This facilitated the sharing of information about hunting, shelter, and strategies for surviving the natural world. Advanced technology. While Neanderthals relied on heavy spears and tools, Homo sapiens invented bows and arrows, along with lighter, more versatile tools. These innovations allowed them to hunt from a distance, reducing the risks associated with direct encounters with large prey. Hunting strategies and social organization. Homo sapiens not only hunted more efficiently, but also maintained more complex social structures. This allowed them to exploit resources effectively and expand their territories rapidly, pushing Neanderthals into areas with fewer resources. Impact on Neanderthals' resource competition. Both species depended on large game such as mammoths and woolly rhinos. As Homo sapiens dominated hunting, Neanderthals were forced into regions with scarce food supplies. Population decline. Continuous competition weakened Neanderthal populations, leading to a significant decrease in their numbers and reducing their ability to sustain their communities. 2. Climate change. The climate shifts at the end of the Ice Age were another significant factor contributing to the extinction of Neanderthals. While they had survived multiple previous climatic changes, this time, the challenges became much harder to overcome. Impact of warming climate habitat. Changes. As the climate warmed, glacial regions shrank and ecosystems transformed. Large animals, the primary food source for Neanderthals, gradually disappeared or migrated to other areas. Inability to adapt. Quickly, Neanderthals' bodies were optimized for cold climates. When temperatures rose, they were unable to adapt quickly enough to meet the demands of the new environment. Comparison with Homo sapiens. Flexible lifestyle. Homo sapiens, with a more adaptable way of life, were able to utilize a wide variety of resources, from small animals to plants, enabling them to adjust better to climate change. Dependence on large game. In contrast, Neanderthals' heavy reliance on large animals and glacial environments made it increasingly difficult for them to sustain their way of life. 3. Genetic assimilation. Another fascinating theory is that Neanderthals didn't entirely disappear. They were assimilated into Homo sapiens through interbreeding. DNA evidence. Modern genetics. Research from the Max Planck Institute reveals that approximately 1 to 2% of the DNA of modern humans in Europe and Asia carries traces of Neanderthal ancestry. This provides clear evidence that Homo sapiens and Neanderthals interbred. Significance. While Neanderthal populations gradually declined, their genetic legacy lives on in us today. Impact on modern human health. Immune system advantages. Neanderthal DNA has been shown to enhance the immune system of modern humans, helping to combat certain infectious diseases. Drawbacks. Some Neanderthal-related genes are also linked to a higher risk of chronic conditions like type 2 diabetes or depression. 4. Other factors. In addition to the main hypotheses, several other factors may have contributed to the extinction of Neanderthals. Conflict with Homo sapiens. Potential warfare. While there is no definitive evidence, some scientists believe that conflicts between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens might have occurred, leading to a decline in Neanderthal populations. Small population size genetic limitations. Neanderthals lived in small groups, typically ranging from 10 to 30 individuals. When their numbers dropped below a certain threshold, maintaining the population would have become increasingly difficult due to a lack of genetic diversity. Neanderthals, despite their strength and intelligence, were unable to overcome the harsh environmental changes and fierce competition from Homo sapiens. However, their extinction does not mark a complete end. In the conclusion, we will explore the legacy Neanderthals left behind and the profound lessons we can learn from them. The story of the Neanderthals is a complex tapestry, filled with both admiration and profound lessons. They were not merely a physically strong species, but intelligent individuals with remarkable adaptability and a rich culture. From tool-making and social organization to symbolic art, they left an indelible mark on the history of evolution. Yet, despite their exceptional traits, Neanderthals could not withstand the fierce competition, climate change, and their small population size. However, their extinction does not mark a complete end. Their DNA lives on in many modern humans, a testament to the fact that they never truly disappeared. The story of the Neanderthals reminds us that strength and intelligence alone are not enough. It is the ability to innovate, cooperate socially, and adapt flexibly that serves as the key to surviving the relentless changes of the world. In today's world, as humanity faces new challenges such as climate change, resource depletion, and global instability, the story of the Neanderthals offers valuable lessons. They remind us that long-term survival is not an individual endeavor, but a collective effort to confront change and adversity. Their legacy is not just in our DNA, but also in the tools, culture, and lessons they left behind. By understanding the Neanderthals more deeply, we not only uncover the past, but also illuminate the path forward for our own future.